Hey, welcome. It's Desiree Stafford. Super excited to have you here because we're going to talk today about what you do not need in order to see your first or net six figures this year, because there's so much information in this marketplace that can be a little bit confusing. It can feel overwhelming, and it can literally have you throwing your money away on just shit that you don't need, and, kind of robbing you of the time that you would actually have to enjoy the things that you really want, to enjoy the life, the business, the success that you've been craving for so long. So again, my name is Desiree Stafford. I am a business coach and mentor. And what I help you do is get out of your own way so that you can make the kind of money that you want and deserve, have the financial or the time freedom that you want without, driving yourself crazy. So let me talk about what you don't need, okay? Because I'm going to be quite honest with you, it ticks me off when I have so many people reach out to me as prospects and then become clients who have done all of this stuff that they thought that they needed to do, and yet they're still not making the money that they want or not making it consistently, right? There's nothing more frustrating than that. So let's talk about it. The first thing is, a lot of people think that you need to spend 4 or 5 figures on a website. You don't. Right? You could, but you don't, right? If you want to be bringing in consistent 5-figure months, that's not the first place to start, right? I spend about $100 on my website a month, okay? That's to have it maintained and have it out there. And I guarantee you that most of the people who sign me don't even go to the website, or maybe they just go and they check it out, but that's about it. Most people are finding me through organic posts like I'm doing now with live streams like this, or if I happen to run ads to it. But you don't need to spend a ton of money building a website. Okay, and if you're doing that, if you're spending all of your time, maybe you built your own website, but you're spending all of your time tweaking the colors and all of that kind of shit, that's just hiding, right? That's not actually doing the work that you need to do to get clients, okay? The second thing is, you don't need to spend 6 figures on coaching and still not be making money consistently. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against high-end fees. I actually charge high-end fees. I'm worth it. But, I understand that you don't have to spend all of this money, because people think, well, I've got to spend 6 figures in my business, or they have spent 6 figures in their business, like investing in themselves, learning how to become better, how to heal, to do all of this extra stuff that you don't need. Now, don't get me wrong. There is mindset work. There is personal development work. It's a lot of what I teach, but you can do that and you can actually be bringing in money at the same time. Okay? Because I see a lot of people spending money on masterminds and all these things that they don't. Not that they don't have their purpose, right? Because I've been in masterminds, every program that I've invested in, I've invested well over 6 figures. They all have their purpose. But if they are not designed to help you do the key things that you need, which I'm going to share with you in a moment, if they're not designed to help you do those things, you don't need them, not right now, okay? The second thing is, you don't need to invest 4 or 5 figures in photo shoots. You don't need to. You can be making multiple 5 figures a month using selfies if you choose, right? You don't need to invest all of this money on getting these fancy photos done. A lot of times where that's coming from is you're trying to establish a lifestyle, or you're trying to do all of this effort in terms of projecting a brand image. But what you really need to be doing is feeding yourself, making sure that you have, money in the bank to put food on the table every single month, and do some of the other things that you've been putting off until you feel like you've arrived, right? So you don't need to spend your time, your energy, and your money focusing on that. Not right now. These things are great to add to your business once you're at where you want to be financially, but if you're not there yet, stop wasting your time with those things, okay? The second thing is, you do not need a massive list. You don't even need any list, to be quite frank. You don't need a huge Facebook community. You don't need thousands of people watching your videos. You don't need those things. Again, if you have them, that's a great advantage to you, but you don't need them in order to get yourself to where you want to be financially. And that's where you need to focus, right? You really need to be focused on, where do I need to be? How much money do I need to make every month to take care of my necessities and allow me some room to do some of the other things that you've been craving, right? Some of the other things that you desire, whether that be traveling, whether that be, taking care of your parents the way that you want. Maybe it is hiring support. It could be so many different things that you want. But focus on that first. Get your needs met first, right? Instead of trying to do all of these other things to project this image that you actually do not need in order to make the money that you want. Let's take a look at me, for example. Let me watch my wardrobe malfunction. When I first got started, I thought I needed to project this huge, polished image, and I wasted a lot of fucking time and money on all of those things that I'm telling you that you don't need today. And I learned my lesson, okay? Because I was still struggling to book clients, and I didn't understand it, and I was doing all that external stuff. Don't get me wrong, external stuff helps. External stuff is nice, but it's not required. I have nice, kinky hair. Beautiful, gorgeous hair, by the way. And I have streaks of gray going through it. And I dress very casually, if you couldn't tell. Occasionally I like to dress up, but this is my look. No makeup, no nothing, because this is who I really am, okay? This is what I project every single day, and I still book clients, and I still make multiple 5 figures a month just like I am, okay? No fancy website, no fancy photo shoots, none of that stuff. No big list, no big Facebook group of people or any of that kind of stuff. Again, if you have that stuff, fantastic. Use it to your advantage, but don't let not having those things be a reason for you to keep telling yourself that you can't be where you need to be, that you can't make the money that you want to make, that you can't help the clients that you're here to serve. Don't let those be your excuses, okay? Hey, Vivian, how are you? Or Viviana, how are you? All right, so what else is it? You don't need a big team. That's another thing you don't need. You don't need a big team, okay? I have a very, very part-time virtual assistant because I have a business that just has a couple of pieces in it. There's not a ton of moving parts to drive myself crazy, right? Or to even like make it difficult for my clients to really understand how they can work with me, right? You don't need all of those things in your business. What I typically teach my clients how to do is run a really simple business where you're having no more than 3 offers, okay? And they're all typically high-end offers, but that allows you to serve your clients at different stages of where they are. It also allows you to have another option for your clients to re-enroll so that they continue to work with you, right? That's all you need. You don't need a business that has 100 moving parts, because all that's going to do is tire you out and stress you out, and you can't afford that, because you want, especially if you're selling high-end fees or selling programs at high-end fees, you need to have the energy. You need to have the life force within you, if I can stop tripping over my words today. You need to be able to have the life force within you so that you can actually show up and serve your clients in the way that they need to be served, so that you have the mental capacity to help them figure out what they're missing, right? That's how you're really in service to your people. But if you're constantly tired and you're constantly exhausted because you're trying to run a business with all these moving parts because you think that's what you need to do in order to make money consistently, I'm here to tell you, you don't, all right? Hey, glad you're here, Viviana. Oh, Vivian. Hey, Vivian. There's 2 of you. Sorry about that. Vivian and Viviana. Well, welcome to both of you. Yes, keep it simple, Viviana. That's what I like to do, because that's what gives you the time, the financial, the mental, the emotional freedom, all of the kind of stuff that every single person who comes to me is looking for. They're dying and desperate to create that in their business. And I'm here to tell you that you can do it, that it doesn't have to be this drain. Business does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be hard. We've been conditioned to believe that it has to be, and that's one of the things that I'm going to share with you in a moment about what you actually do need. But it doesn't have to be this way. And especially if you're someone who's maybe had a business offline, coming into the online world can feel like, shock to your system, like, how come it's so easy? Technically, let me rephrase. Technically, it's easy because you have to unlearn, and I talked about this earlier on social media, you have to unlearn a lot of shit. Okay, when you come into the online world. And that's what, sometimes that transition is what can make it feel so hard. Okay, so, and then also you're facing things come up that you typically don't have to deal with as much in the offline world. And sometimes that can, trigger you, or can, create different kinds of feelings and emotions. There we go, I'm back. That can make the transition feel a little bit more of a challenge for you, but I'm going to share with you how you can make it easier for yourself in just a second. All right. What else is it that you don't need? Let me just get through. Okay. You also don't need a whole bunch of information. Okay. One of the things that I'm really good at is simplifying things for my clients. I'm really good at pinpointing where is the problem and just giving you what you need in that moment. Because you don't need to spend all of your time trying to study all kinds of shit that's not related to you. That's what a lot of these programs do. I remember my first ever high-end program that I invested in. I was so frustrated because I was overwhelmed. It was like I was given the keys to a library and just like shoved in the library and said, here, figure it out. Like there was no order. There was no organization. Like I didn't understand what to do first, what to do second, And I think you need that in order to really get the most benefit out of what you're learning, because not everything is going to apply to you, right? So you need to stop trying to constantly consume information, because that's not serving you, right? If everything was about information, you would spend a weekend or 2 on Google, get all Google or YouTube, get all the information that you need, and then you would be off making your multi-5 figures a month, traveling the world and doing whatever you want. But you're here, right? And you're watching this and you're learning this because you know that that's not working. right? Maybe some of you have tried that, but that doesn't work, right? There is more that you need to understand. You need insight about how to apply the information that you learn. Hey, Brenda, Patricia, how are you? You need insight to learn how to apply the information that you learn. Because if information alone, like I said before, was enough, then everyone, because we live in an information society, everyone would be killing it, but everyone is not killing it. There is a reason for that. It's because a lot of times there are things about how to implement a thing, how to implement a particular strategy, for example, that you may not understand. You don't see your blind spots. You can't see what you're not understanding, right? And so you go out, you try it, you don't get the result, and then you throw up your hands in frustration. You're thinking nothing works. Yeah, it works, but you don't know how to work it, right? That's why you need support. I tell this to people all the time. All right. And then you need guidance on how to implement different strategies and things like that. So those are the things that you don't need. Those are some of the biggest things that many of the clients who hire me are doing that's not getting them the results. So that's what we're talking about this today. All right. And so just to recap, I talked about the fact that you don't need a website. You don't need to spend a shit ton of money on coaching. I do sell high-end fees, so I do think it's important to invest at the level that's going to require you to grow and stretch. But what I'm saying is, if you're spending 6 figures on coaching and you're not seeing any results, you got a problem, okay? And it's not because you're not spending money, and I hope it's not because you're not doing the work, right? You're not investing that at that level and not doing the work. It's because there's something about it that you don't understand, and we're going to talk about that more in a little bit here. You also don't need fancy photo shoots, okay? I was hitting multi 5-figure months with selfies last year, okay? And I don't really use selfies today. I use a couple professional photos, but they were like cheapy photo shoots. They were like a couple $100. They weren't even like anything big, because there's a lot of people who are investing 4 and 5 figures in photo shoots, and they're not booking any clients. They look pretty. Their websites are awesome, but where the fuck are the clients? That's what you need to stay in business, right? So that's something else. All right. You don't need a massive list. You don't need a huge Facebook group. You don't need thousands or millions of views on your videos. You don't need any of that stuff, okay? And in fact, I've had many people hire me after working with some big name gurus. I kind of consider myself an anti-guru, because I just like to deal with the real and raw stuff. Like, I don't teach people to do all that extra, because everything that you need in order to achieve the results that you have is already within you. We just need to unpack it. Like, we need to remove all of the shit that's getting in the way and causing you to believe things that don't serve you. That's the real key. And let's actually move into what you do need, because I want to talk about that. I'm kind of giving away a little bit more than I wanted to give away, right? But we've covered what you don't need so far. Hey, Karen, how are you? Yeah, real talk is how I do it, okay? Real talk is how I do it, because I like people being real with me, right? We're all adults here. We want real talk because we want to be able to make empowered decisions, right? My thing is this, and I tend to go off on tangents, so I'm going to try to keep it tight here. My thing is this. I'm really about empowering my clients to get the results that they're after in their lives, right? I have no interest in having someone lean on me or become dependent upon me. So I like to teach you how to think. I like to give you a different perspective so you can start looking at things and making a good judgment for yourself, right? I'm going to share with you what I do and what I show my clients how to do, and then you see whether or not it feels like it works for you. Because I don't believe in absolutes. I don't believe it has to be this one particular way. I certainly don't believe when people tell you, you have to use this strategy or else. That's bullshit, right? If somebody tells you that, they're trying to sell you that, okay? So I'm just going to tell you, like, there's a lot of crap that people are telling you that you need that you don't fucking need, okay? So let me just give it to you like that, and then you can take from it and choose what you want to use and what you don't want to use. How about that? All right. So, hey, Nita, how are you? And hey, Karen, thanks. I'm glad I nailed it for you. Thanks for being here, guys, and thanks for the love. Give me more love, by the way, if you're really liking the content. Okay, so what do you need? We've talked a lot about what you don't need. Let's talk about what you do need, okay? Obviously, you need a program. You have to have something to sell to people, okay? This isn't any old rinky-dink program. This isn't just some how-to program that anybody else can sell, right? And that's a big fear that many people have. You're kind of like, well, how do I stand out in the marketplace? Well, part of the way that you stand out in the marketplace is by having a program that stands out. So how do you do that, right? This is not about recreating the wheel. Okay? Because a lot of us do this. We think if we're going to be charging $3,000 to $25,000, oh my God, I have to recreate the wheel. You do not. Okay? You do not. What you do need, though, is to make sure that your program, and thanks for the love, by the way. What you do need is to make sure that your program solves a specific burning problem. A specific burning problem. A problem that is keeping your clients up at night. Not a problem that they're kind of like, I got this problem, but it's no big deal. No, it's got to be a problem that's major, a problem that's causing them stress in their relationship, stress in their business, stress in their home life, stress in their health. It has to be a problem that people are willing to invest in to get out of, right? You've got to understand what that problem is. You've got to understand what it's costing your people to stay in that pain. And you've got to understand how to create a program that provides a solution to that problem. Okay? You've got to get clear about that. And I know it can be difficult or feel difficult, let me rephrase, for people who offer transformational services like I do. But you've got to be really clear about the one main result or outcome that you offer. You can certainly talk about all the other benefits, but you've got to be clear on one specific result. Because when a person is in pain, they're looking for a doctor to solve that particular pain, right? If I know my arm is broken, but sometimes my hip hurts me every now and again, I'm going to the doctor who's going to fix my arm. I'll deal with the hip pain later, right? And most likely, when you fix the arm, you can address the hip pain later. But that's what I'm talking about. People are looking for someone who is going to help them solve that specific problem, the one that's causing them the most pain right now. That's what your program needs to do. Now, how do you make it unique? How do you make it stand out so that it's not just another how-to, right? That's when you combine your unique combination of gifts, skills, and talents in your offer, okay? This is typically where people need the most support, because when something is natural to us, right? Because remember what I said before, you already have everything inside of you that you need to create these programs. But when something comes really natural to you, when it's easy to you, you tend to overlook it. You tend to take things for granted. Okay. I've done that millions of times, and I had to have coaches tell me, Desiree, are you kidding me? You're awesome at this. But it was so easy for me that I didn't notice that I was awesome at it. Okay. And that's one of the things that I help my clients to really see, where they're actually leaving money on the table, where there's so many different skills that they possess. There's so many hidden talents that they have that they overlook because it's just me. It's just what I do. And you assume that everyone else does it, that everyone else gets it, but they don't. That's why they're hiring you, right? So you need to make sure that your program does combine your unique gifts, skills, and talents. Viviana, I'm going to answer you in just a second, okay? But let me just get through this point real quick. So that's the first thing, right? Now, when it comes to charging higher end fees, like I said, I help my clients charge anywhere from $3,000 to $25,000. That's typically our sweet spot. And different programs allow for that, right? The way that you command those fees is that you have to truly understand the value of your program. You have to understand that it is a bargain compared to the pain that your clients are in right now. You have to understand that, because if you don't understand that, you're not going to be able to stand in confidence in your fee, which is going to make your clients feel like, it's too expensive, it's too much, I don't know if I want to do that. It'll bring up fears and concerns. That's going to be a challenge for them to get through. So you have to really see the value of your program. You have to see that it is a bargain compared to what life will be like if they stay in that problem. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing you need is marketing. You need a marketing strategy, okay? Now, when I teach marketing, I don't teach you how to, run around town creating, a shit ton of content and wiping yourself out, okay? Because the people that I work with are really about transformation. You really want to be able to serve your clients well. And there's ways to do this without burning yourself out. So I always will help you create what I like to call an elegant plan. So this is a plan where I don't like to restrict the amount of content you put out. I don't restrict the amount of content I put out, but you want to be coming from a place of excitement. Your marketing should feel like fun. It should feel authentic. It should feel like it just rolls off your tongue. Now, is there room for having some structure? Is there room for, sprinkling in buyer psychology into your copy, for example? Of course, okay? But that's just tweaking it. That's just massaging it. But real compelling copy comes from you being you. So that means you've got to unpack all the stuff that you think you can't do. You've got to remove the filters. A lot of times, we come from a corporate world and we can't talk like this. You can't say certain things. That's not the same online, because people want to connect with real people. They want to buy into you, right? So you need to be able to remove all of that crap, give yourself permission to do that, and really speak your truth. That's what people are connecting with. That's what people are resonating with. That's how people know that you are the coach or mentor for them, okay? That's a big part of it. So when I teach strategy, I do have specific strategies that I show my clients how to use. Webinars happen to be one of them. Facebook written posts, live streams happen to be some of the strategies that I use. But I really help tailor it to the client, what my client enjoys doing the most. And then from there, we can always repurpose your content so that we can put it out in multiple streams without, again, burning you out, without making you, try to force yourself to do a certain type of marketing strategy that you don't enjoy, right? Because if you don't enjoy it, it's not going to be any fun for you or for your potential clients. And that's going to show in your energy. That's going to show up in your energy. And energy is a huge component of your marketing. That's another thing sometimes we don't realize. Our energy has a lot to do with how compelling we can be. Whether or not we're allowing our natural ability to captivate clients shine through or not. And if you have filters on yourself, if you have limits, if you have, if you're constantly second guessing every word that you put out, you're holding yourself back, right? And if you hold yourself back, your people can feel it, okay? You've got to be bigger than your people so your people can have the room for them to step up, right? Because you're modeling for your people. All right. So when it comes to marketing, always keep it a simple plan, okay? I recommend no more than 3 strategies at a time, okay? I really recommend, again, no more than 3 strategies at a time, and repurpose your shit. Stop trying to be a content machine. Repurpose or throw some ads behind it and let it do its thing for you, okay? I actually give my people a funnel that's running for them 24/7 behind the scenes so that you're not, there's some days you wake up and you don't feel like writing. You don't have to. Know that you don't need a copywriter. You can if you want, but you don't need a copywriter. No one can communicate your message, in my opinion, as the way that you can communicate your message, because you're the one who has the passion, right? You're the one who has the life experience. You're the one who truly understands, what it's like for your client to be where they are and, then go from there to experiencing the transformation that you can help them provide. Right? Nobody understands that better than you. I'm not dissing copywriters. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just letting you know that you don't need to have copywriters to be bringing in multi-5 figures a month. Okay. Let's see what else. Another thing about funnels, because I hear a lot of chatter in the marketplace. Some people say you don't need funnels, right? I've worked with mentors who said, you don't need a funnel. You don't. You absolutely do not need a funnel. But here's a question for you. Would you rather have 1 million or 2? Okay. You can certainly make $1 million. You can certainly hit 6 figures, multi-6 figures, 7 figures, doing onesie, twosie pieces online all the time. But if your goal is bigger than that, you need a funnel, right? You're going to need to be bringing in clients while you're traveling, while you're sleeping, while you're serving clients, right? Or bringing in leads, I should say, that become clients. So that's one of the reasons why I highly recommend that you do have a funnel in place, okay? You don't necessarily start with a funnel, right? You want to start with bringing in the sales immediately, and then you can add the funnel on as you grow, okay? The third piece, and this is the biggest piece. Hey, Patricia, how are you? Okay, I'm gonna address the questions that you guys have shared, and yes, repurpose. I'm gonna address them in just a second. Let me just finish the third piece, the third thing that you need, and then we'll talk about, we'll address all of your questions. I gotta watch my time though, because I do have a breakthrough session coming up in a couple minutes. Okay, so mindset, right? This is not news to you that you need to work on your mindset. It is not news to you that mindset is 90%. I think it's 90% of the game. That's not news to you. The challenge is most people do not. It's so funny because we're in an industry where we help people, right? Where we all talk about the same stuff. We all talk about how important mindset is, but most people don't know how to teach mindset, at least in a way where it gets you sustainable results. This is what I see a lot happening in the industry. People will teach mindset in a way that they're going to teach you the laws and believe in the laws and all that kind of stuff, which is great. You do need to believe in universal laws and all that kind of stuff, law of attraction, if that's your thing. Then you have some people in the marketplace who are rah-rah cheerleaders. So they're there and they will cheer you on, and you'll get that first $3,000 sale, that first $5,000 sale, that first $10,000 sale, that first $20,000 sale. Fine. But then why are there so many people in the marketplace who are still struggling with feast or famine? Meaning that they'll hit those big money months and then not sell again for weeks or months at a time. That is a massive, massive problem in our industry. It's something that I've experienced. It's something that my clients were experiencing before I understood what needed to shift. It's something that so many of my colleagues experience. I've seen people shoot up to $200,000 in their first year and come all the way back down to square one. Okay? I've seen it over and over and over again. And the reason that that's happening is because most people are not being prepared for the long game, right? So most people are looking at, well, how do I get my client to achieve results fast? Because everybody wants fast results. The client wants fast results, right? The coach or mentor wants fast results because it looks great for their testimonials. Fantastic. I'm into fast results, yes, but I'm also into sustainable results. That means you need to adopt a mindset that's going to allow for you to sustain your results, to make consistent 5-figure months, not just get you there. And like, because there's so much, you're starting with a brand new mentor. So you have like the energy of the mentor pushing you there, right? But then when you get there, how do you stay there? You stay there because you've developed the mindset in order to allow you to stay there. So some people will teach that, okay, the way that you change your belief, the way that you change your mindset is by achieving the result. And then that'll do it. That doesn't do it. That doesn't do it, because so many people do not have a self-image that will allow them to hold a five or multi-5-figure months for a long time. And so what will happen is they will do things subconsciously to resist it, to get themselves all the way back down to where they think they belong, to where they feel safe. This is a massive problem in our industry. So you have to, while you're going after the goals, you also have to be stretching yourself. You also have to be growing so that you can hold the money that you're making. Okay? Because anybody can make money. Let's just be honest. Anybody can make money. Not everybody can keep it. Okay? And if you've experienced that in your business, where you feel like you make a ton of money, and then again, you know, a couple weeks you're not making any money, sometimes a couple months, maybe it's that you're not making any money at all, but you're certainly not back to where you want to be. Right? Now, listen. We're human beings, and there are, you know, external factors that are contributors, right? So to have a little bit of a dip is not the end of the world. But to go from, you know, making money to not making money for weeks, that's telling you that there's something going on. And oftentimes they're unconscious beliefs. There are many conscious beliefs that we're aware of, but then there are also deeper, hidden, way down buried subconscious beliefs that need to be dug up. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that you have to sit here and, you know, sing Kumbaya all your life and, you know, hope and pray that those subconscious beliefs reveal themselves and then you can go make money. No, I'm saying to take the action to go and make your money, but at the same time, you need to be working on those beliefs, because there's a lot of beliefs that will come up. Sometimes it's so ingrained habitually for you that you're not even aware of the self-sabotage. This is another reason why we also often need outside support to help us see those areas where we're holding ourselves back, to see those areas where we're still feeling disempowered, to see those areas where we don't totally feel comfortable, we don't totally feel worthy of making a lot of money. If you're someone who grew up like I did in a household where the value system, or I'm going to stick with value system, was that hard work equals success, and you're doing what you love and the shit's easy, like you're just literally going off of passion, energy, excitement, and enthusiasm, and you stop and you pause and you realize, holy shit, I just made 20K this month, that it was easy. If you haven't dissolved the beliefs that tell you that it's not okay for it to be easy, guess what's going to happen? Either you're going to break shit and make it hard for yourself all over again, or you're going to, you know, get yourself hit with like bills that seem to come out of nowhere, just like problems that will start showing up because you don't feel like it's okay for you to have that money, right? If you don't feel that you really deserve to have the money, if it's not okay, like if there's a certain limit that you've put on yourself, like in terms of you being totally independent, because you guys know I talk about power a lot, especially power in women and money. Sometimes we have a limit or a cap on what we think is okay for us to hold, to receive, to accept. And if you don't deal with that, then you can make all the money you want and bring yourself right back down. I see it happen over and over and over again. So you have to, the third piece of the things that you do need is you have to develop a mindset. I call this a mindset of wealth with ease. A mindset that not only allows you to make a lot of money, but allows you to make the money easily, so you don't have to feel like you have to burn yourself out in order to get that result. This is how you get sustainable results, not the, you know, one-hit wonder type of thing, or, you know, the big money months and then you don't sell again for weeks at a time. Okay. So let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to share. Oh, another thing about mindset, and I think this is really important that a lot of us don't seem to, I'm going to say understand, but it may be a different word. I'm not quite sure. And thanks for the love, by the way. You know, you have to realize, because even though your mindset is about changing your thoughts, it's about changing your feelings, it's about changing your action, right? You have to realize that you at this point, however old you are, is how many years of baggage that needs to be undone, right? So it could be 30 years, it could be 40 years, it could be 50 plus years of beliefs that don't serve you that you need to let go of. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to take you years to let go of them. If you have the right support, you can do it pretty quickly. Not overnight, but it might feel overnight because it will happen really fast in comparison to all of the years it took you to adopt those beliefs. But that's another reason why mindset is so important, because what I've noticed is when my clients fully unleash themselves in their business and they allow themselves to receive the kind of money that they want, they allow themselves to take the kind of time off that they desire, all those kind of things, when they give themselves permission to do that in their business, it impacts every area of their life. All of a sudden, their relationships typically start to feel more connected. They're attracting better quality friends, or maybe better quality men if they're dating right now, or what have you. Their relationship with their families tend to improve. They release a lot of the guilt, shame, and embarrassment that they may have been feeling that has been holding them back. There's so many ways that really allowing yourself to feel empowered in your business then impacts every aspect of your life. So it's really important that you master this mindset piece, okay? That you master it. I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to share. So let me go back and answer your question before I have to wrap up today. And thanks for the love, by the way. For those of you who would like some additional support, you're ready to hit your first or next 6 figures without burning yourself out, and you want support on creating the offer, you want support on the marketing, and you want support around the mindset in order to allow for all this to happen for you with ease, you can check me out at DesireeStafford.com/session for a no-cost breakthrough session. I think I have a couple left this week. Oh, thanks. My hair is gorgeous, Vivian. I appreciate it. So earlier, you remember what I was saying, that you don't need to be fancy in order to make the kind of money that you want. That's one of the things I mentioned, that I have this big head of kinky hair full of gray, which I refer to as, strokes of wisdom, right? And I don't, there's nothing fancy about me, but I make a pretty penny every single month, okay? So I wanted to share that with you because it's important that you understand that you don't have to be, let me be careful how I phrase this. You don't have to be someone different than you are, but you do need to step into the higher version of yourself. I hope you understand that distinction. You don't have to be somebody else, okay? And you don't have to take these fancy photo shoots and all this shit if that's not you. If it is you, then do it, right? Like live into the experience if that's you. But if it's not you, you don't have to do those things in order to start commanding the fees and the consistent income that you desire. That's the point that I'm stressing there, all right? So thanks for the compliment, Viviana. Hey, Vivian, how are you? Yes, it is that simple, Viviana. Listen, you do not have to have 100 moving parts in your business. That was one of the things that was like, thank God. You know what I mean? Because I'll be honest with you, some days I can be kind of lazy. And I just don't feel like it. Like yesterday, there wasn't a lot of me online, right? Because I just was like, all right, well, I'm good, right? That's how you want it to be. You don't want it to be where you have to, at least I don't anyway. I never wanted my business to feel like I had to do X, Y, Z, because then that takes the fun out of it for me. When I show up, when I market, when I train, when I teach, when I educate, this shit's fun for me. That's how I want it to feel. Because when it doesn't feel that way, then something happens energetically that actually blocks me from getting the results. And I have had to learn that over the years. I want it to be fun. I want to bring to you my passion, my energy, my totally real vibe, because that's who I am. That's who I am as a person. That's what you get. If you know me, if you're working with me as a client, if you've ever been on the phone with me, if you meet me on the street, this is who you get. That's what I've always enjoyed about, there's certain mentors who they kind of put on this facade and you really don't really know what you're buying. That's not what you get with me. What you see is what you get, right? Again, sometimes I like to dress it up, but for the most part, I'm really casual, right? And so that's what I project. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people hire me, because it kind of takes the pressure off of you feeling like you have to pretend to be someone that you're not. And then you feel awkward when you're dealing with your clients because you're like, well, that's not really who I am. And then you kind of tiptoe around your clients and you're not really saying what you need to say or saying it in the way that you want to say it. And then the clients don't get great results that way, right? They don't. So, okay, let's see. Yes, Viviana. So Viviana wrote, she's got a lot of shit to unlearn and a lot of shit to avoid from others. Hello. Hey, Brenda, how are you? Hey, Karen, I'm glad you enjoyed the real talk. What you said, I nailed it. I'm not sure if you remember what I nailed, so I'd love to hear what that was. Hey, Nita, how are you? A solution, exactly, Viviana. So Viviana wrote, just as we say in tech, a solution. And that was referring to when I talked about your programs, right? You want to make sure that your program offers a specific solution. Okay. So Viviana says, mine is more broad, for it changes from person to person as my business is product-based, but you are making me think, Desiree, ultimately the solution is to be centered at peace. Yeah. So I'd love to know what you do, Viviana. What's your product? And when you do simplify, by the way, when you do simplify in terms of being very specific about the problem that you solve and the solution, That's how you make the big bucks, because people are wanting to hire a specialist, right? People pay more for specialists than they do for generalists. So just FYI. Okay, so fun. Viviana writes, fun. I'm whimsical, quirky, and this is how I write, but I have not done much because I felt it was not professional. That's a big thing, right? I did the same thing when I started. I felt like, well, I can't say that because it's not professional. But you know what? I write with I mean, some days, I think yesterday I wrote like 4 posts in like 40 minutes. They just popped right the hell out, right? They weren't my long, dissertations, but they were very powerful. I can be very powerful and concise at the same time, because I'm not worried about being professional. And that's another thing when we talked about marketing before, and I talked about like copywriting. When you're just being yourself, that's the most powerful and most effective copy. You don't have to worry about being professional. What we do as coaches and mentors, it's different than what most people are doing in the offline world, which is why sometimes it can feel like a huge transition for us, because we're so caught up in it has to be professional. Because when you come from years of working in corporate, there are certain rules or certain guidelines. Listen, I write run-on sentences. I sometimes write incomplete sentences. My shit's full of spelling mistakes. I'm not giving myself a pass saying that you never want to, be cautious or mindful of what you're putting out there. But to me, the message is much more important. I still make money, right? And the same is true for you. So if you allow yourself, if you give yourself permission to let go of it having to be quote unquote professional, you will actually attract the people who just resonate with you being you. That's what it really comes down to. All right. Hey, Patricia. All right. So you just talked about not stifling your voice. Good deal. And yes, repurpose. Hey, Viviana, thank you very much. I do feel like I am the bomb. And let me just be honest with you. I haven't always felt this confident. I haven't always felt this good about myself. There were many, many years where my self-image was so poor because I had spent a lot of time around people who had low self-images themselves. And so every time I would give myself permission to shine, I got the hit from it. Right? I got you're too bold, you're too aggressive, you're too direct, you're too much. I got all of that stuff and I internalized all of that stuff. And so then I started to hide, and I started to stifle my voice, and I felt like I couldn't really say what I wanted to say. And I just wanted to avoid any attention because of that. It took me a minute to grow out of this, to really just say, fuck what everybody else thinks. I'm the most important person in my life, and what I have to share is important. I mean, I got to a place where I really felt like I didn't matter. Like I really felt like what I had to say wasn't that different. It didn't have that much value. And I held myself back for a long time because I believed that nonsense. And so if anything you take from this video, I mean, I shared a lot of stuff with you today, but if there's anything that you walk away with, I really want you guys to walk away feeling empowered to share your voice, right? To show up as powerful, to own your shit so that you can own 2017. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hey, Karen, everything you needed to hear. Understand understand the value you bring. Hey, Isabel, how are you? It was Vivian that said solution. Ah, okay, Vivian. Thanks for correcting me. Okay. So Patricia wrote, you're so glad you were saying this about writing in flow and genuine with your message. I'm singing your song, Karen. Fantastic. All right, guys. So I'm glad you guys are here. I've got to run because I have a breakthrough session scheduled in a few minutes. But if you would like a breakthrough session with me, if you want to see your first or next 6 figures this year with ease, sign up for a complimentary breakthrough session at DesireeStafford.com/session. And we can talk about what's really going on with you. Like, where do you want to be versus where you are now? What the hell is holding you back? And then create a plan to help you get there. And then if we feel like it's right, we can talk about what it might look like to work together. How does that sound? All right. So you're welcome, Nita. Glad you joined. Glad you joined, Karen. Thanks for everyone who's here. Thanks for all the love. If you got some value out of today's video, I invite you to like it. Or love it, actually. Love it. Comment below. Let me know that you love it. Share it with people who you think would benefit. And I think that wraps it up for today. And if you watch the replay and you have any questions about anything I talked about today, feel free to type it in. You're welcome, Patricia. Feel free to type it into the comment box and I will come back and I will respond to you. Okay? All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Take care.